Title: He found a crying child in the wreckage, then the huntress emerged. You finally meet your daughter. The wind carried the smell of burnt metal and ash. Fire danced on shattered beams. The ground was littered with broken machines and silent bodies. Smoke curled like fingers around the ruins of what used to be a village. Now nothing more than wreckage and death. He stepped over a crushed drone, boots crunching glass beneath. His name was Ryan, a salvager. A human working alone on the edge of the galaxy. He had seen war zones before, seen cities fall, but this place felt different, colder. Emptier. He raised his scanner, no life signs, only static. Still, something pulled him forward. As he turned a corner, stepping over a collapsed wall, he heard it, faint, soft, fragile. Not the sound of a dying engine or collapsing metal. This was a cry. A child's cry. He stopped, heart thudding. Was he imagining it? Again, he heard it, high-pitched, breathless, like someone trying to stay silent but failing. He dropped to one knee, scanning the rubble with his eyes, not trusting the tech anymore. Then he saw it, a small figure curled under a broken beam, half covered in dust. Thin arms wrapped around trembling legs. She had pale blue skin, matted silver hair, and long ears flattened in fear. Her eyes, wide and glowing faintly, locked onto his. He slowly moved forward, hands raised to show he meant no harm. "It's all right, I'm here," he said gently. The girl didn't speak, just stared. She looked no older than 5 or 6. Her chest rose and fell too fast. Her lip trembled. Ryan pulled a small heat blanket from his pack and held it out. She didn't move. A deep crack echoed above. The beam above her creaked, shifting from the weight of debris. Without thinking, he lunged forward, sliding beside her and lifting the support just enough to pull her out. Dust rained down as they rolled free. He held her against his chest, covering her with the blanket. Her small body trembled in his arms. She still hadn't said a word, but she clung to him now, face buried in his jacket. "It's all right," he whispered, his voice quieter than the flames behind him. Then he noticed something. Around her neck was a pendant, round, silver, and humming with faint blue light. It looked old, ceremonial, not something a child would wear for fun. Symbols circled its edge, not human, but he recognized the script. Warrior clans from the northern star tribes. He had worked with their diplomats 10 years ago. He touched the pendant lightly. It pulsed under his finger. Suddenly the air changed. Sharp shift in pressure, like something ancient had just taken a breath. He felt it before he heard it. A presence. Behind him. He turned slowly. And froze. From the smoke stepped a figure. Tall, armored, silent. She wore black and crimson hunter's gear, her face partly hidden behind a helmet shaped like a bird of prey. Glowing red eyes pierced through him. A long blade rested on her back. Her skin, what little he could see, was the same pale blue as the child. She moved like a shadow, controlled and dangerous. The girl in his arms stirred. Her tiny fingers gripped his shirt tighter. She had seen the woman. Ryan stood slowly, placing the child behind him. He didn't have a weapon, and even if he did, it wouldn't matter. The woman stopped a few feet away. Her eyes locked onto his. For a moment, no one spoke. Only the fire and the wind made noise. Then she removed her helmet. Her silver hair fell around her sharp face. Her eyes, cold yet shimmering with something deeper, searched his. "You finally meet your daughter," she said. His breath caught. "What did you say?" The huntress tilted her head. Her voice was calm, but her stare was unshakable. "She has your eyes, human." Rain looked down at the child. Her hand slipped into his again, as if she already knew. "I don't have a daughter," he whispered. The huntress didn't smile. "You do now." Before he could reply, a distant sound rolled through the sky, a low hum, growing louder. Ships. Someone was coming. The huntress turned her head slightly. They'll kill her if they find her. Who will? He asked. Everyone. She stepped forward and looked at the girl, her face softer now. She was hidden here until the war ended. But the war never ended. They found out she lives. And now they want her gone. And you? He asked. What do you want? She met his eyes again. To see if you'll protect what's yours. Ryan stared at the child. Title: He found a crying child in the wreckage. Then the huntress emerged. You finally meet your daughter. Ryan didn't know why he followed her. Maybe it was the child's fingers still locked around his hand. Maybe it was the way the huntress had spoken, calm, cold, yet almost desperate. The broken hallway of the ship groaned as he stepped inside. The huntress stood in the middle of the cockpit, brushing ash from a control panel. The lights flickered, sparks falling from torn wires. He looked at the child again. She sat quietly on a seat near the door, her legs swinging, her eyes too old for someone so small. When he moved, her gaze never left him. The huntress didn't turn. You still think she's not yours? Ryan's jaw clenched. I don't even know your name. She tapped a switch. The ship hummed, doors sealing with a sharp hiss. I am called Sira of Clan Devana, she said, and 10 cycles ago you were sent to negotiate peace. His heart skipped. He remembered that mission. A peaceful outpost. Talks that went nowhere. Long nights under alien stars. But this woman, this warrior, he didn't remember her. You saved me once, she continued. When the council accused me of weakness, you spoke up. No one else dared. He shook his head slowly. I remember the trial. I don't remember this connection. Sira walked toward him, the steel in her steps unmistakable. She stopped just close enough for him to feel her breath. Your blood is in her, she said. You held me that night. You chose me when my people turned away. He looked back at the child. Why didn't you tell me? I tried, she said. But after that night, Earth Command pulled you out. I was sent to exile. I didn't even know I was carrying. Until months later. By then you had vanished. Ryan stepped back, as if the truth had weight. He paced, trying to find air in the dead ship. And now you bring her here? He asked. To a battlefield? No, Sira replied. I brought her to safety. But safety doesn't exist anymore. Someone betrayed us. Someone who knows what she is. He narrowed his eyes. What is she? Sira's voice dropped. She is the last heir of Clan Devana, a half-blood. A living secret. If the high houses learn she survived, they will hunt her. Not for shame, for power. Ryan looked at the child again. She tilted her head, then suddenly reached into her pocket. She pulled out the pendant again, the same one from before. This time, it glowed brighter. Without thinking, he stepped closer. The light pulsed faster as he neared. She responds. To you, Sira said. The pendant is bloodlocked. It opens only to kin. Ryan reached out, and the pendant's center unfolded like a flower. Inside was a projection. A small image of a baby, wrapped in warrior cloth, with coordinates burned into the background. Where is that? He asked. A sanctuary. Or it was, Sira answered. Until someone leaked it. The ship suddenly jolted. Ryan stumbled. Alarms screamed from a nearby console. Tracking beam, Sira hissed. They're above us. Ryan ran to the pilot's seat. This thing can still fly? Barely, she said, leaping beside him. But it has one. Jump left. He didn't ask where. He just started flipping switches. The engines coughed, whined, and then roared to life. The ship lifted, scraping through twisted metal. The child held tight to her seat, her tiny hands white from gripping the straps. Outside the window, shadowy shapes descended through the sky. Black ships with no markings, no warning lights. Mercenaries. Cold ones. Sira pulled a side lever and turned to him. If we don't... Title. He found a crying child in the wreckage. Then the huntress emerged. You finally meet your daughter. The desert wind hit them like fire. Their ship had jumped blind, bursting through space and scraping through a planet's outer edge. Now they were grounded. The hull was cracked. Engines dead. Smoke poured from the back vents. Outside, endless dunes stretched in every direction, golden, sharp, and moving with the wind. The heat shimmered, and the air tasted like salt and iron. Ryan stepped out first, shielding his eyes. His boots sank slightly in the hot sand. He looked up. No cities, no towers, only sky. A wrecked world. A hiding place. Behind him, the huntress Sira carried the child. The girl had wrapped herself in a loose cloak, her silver hair covered, her eyes scanning the horizon with unnatural calm. Ryan looked at Sira. "Where are we?" She set the girl down gently. "Old training grounds. My people abandoned this moon decades ago. Nothing lives here, except the storms." Ryan stared at the broken sky. "Then they'll find us fast." "They're already looking," Sira said. "We need to move." The ship hissed behind them, fuel cells collapsing. Ryan pulled the girl close and followed Sira down a narrow, rocky path between the dunes. Hours passed. The sun burned overhead and winds howled louder. They found cover in a canyon, beneath an overhang of red stone. Ryan collapsed, breathing hard. The girl leaned against him, silent, eyes half closed. He brushed dust from her cheek. "You all right?" She nodded slowly. "What's your name?" She looked up at him, quiet, hesitant. "I don't know," she said. Ara spoke from the shadows. She was never given one. Ryan turned sharply. "What do you mean?" "Her name was to be given by her father," Sira said. "It's a tradition. I kept the right for you." Ryan looked down at the girl again. His chest tightened. She was so small, yet so still, as if she carried 1,000 secrets behind. Those eyes. He opened his mouth to speak, but before he could, the air changed. A low hum buzzed beneath the earth. The girl suddenly stood, her hands glowing faintly. "What's happening?" Ryan asked, standing quickly. Sira stepped forward, eyes wide. "She's reacting to something old." The girl took a step toward the canyon wall, then placed her palm on the stone. The rock trembled, glowed. A seam cracked open, dust falling from the edges. A hidden door. Ryan pulled her back gently as the opening widened, revealing a tunnel lined with ancient lights, soft blue pulses that lit one by one, leading into the dark. "What is this place?" Ryan asked. Sira stared into the passage. "A vault. From before the wars. I didn't know it still existed." "You trained here?" he asked. "Yes," she replied. "But this entrance was sealed. Only someone with blood from both worlds could open it." They stepped inside. Cool air wrapped around them as they descended. The walls were carved with symbols, images of warriors, beasts, stars. The girl stopped at one symbol, a figure standing between two empires, holding a child in one arm, and a blade in the other. She pointed to it. "That's me." Ryan froze. Sira walked closer, eyes locked on the image. That figure was a myth, a prophecy. A child of two bloods who would either destroy or unite the clans. "She's just a little girl," Ryan said quietly. "She's more than that," Sira whispered. The tunnel led them to a chamber. In the center was a pedestal, smooth, circular, glowing with the same light as the pendant. The girl stepped forward and placed the pendant on the pedestal. The chamber roared to life. A large map lit up across the stone walls. Systems, empires, secret paths. Hidden codes appeared in the air. Battle plans, locations of vaults long believed lost. "This is a war map," Ryan said. "From the old days," Sira nodded. "And now, every mercenary, warlord, and fallen general will be hunting her. Because she's the key to all of it." Before they could speak again, the chamber lights flickered. A loud beep echoed in the air. Someone had entered the canyon above. "They found us," Sira hissed. Ryan grabbed the child, shielding her. How do we get out? Sierra tapped the wall. A hidden path slid open behind the map. This way, she said. But once we leave, there's no turning back. Ryan looked down at the girl, her arms tight around his neck. I'm not leaving her behind, he said. You don't have to, Sierra replied. You just have to survive long enough to name her. They ran into the tunnel, the sounds of engines, and boots growing louder behind them, dotted in the dark. The child finally whispered, not in fear, but in trust. Are you? Title. He found a crying child in the wreckage. Then the huntress emerged. You finally meet your daughter. The tunnel twisted deeper underground. Each step echoed through stone and shadow. The light behind them was fading fast, replaced by the sound of engines, voices, and metal footsteps chasing closer. Ryan carried the girl, her arms locked around his shoulders. Sierra moved ahead, silent and sharp, her blade drawn, eyes watching every corner. They finally reached a chamber that opened wide, ancient, circular, with columns wrapped in carvings and dust. The air was cool and still, untouched by time. Sierra signaled for them to stop. We rest here, she said. Only for a moment. Ryan set the girl down carefully. She sat beside him, pulling her knees to her chest. Still silent but alert, he looked at Sierra. His voice was low, tired, but steady. I need the truth now. All of it. She stood across from him, her back to a column, shadows cutting across her face. I told you before, she said. You saved me once, on a mission your leaders barely remember. I was no one to them, but not to you. Ryan leaned forward. I don't remember saving anyone. You do, she said softly. But you buried it. Humans have that gift. You forget pain when it suits you. His jaw tightened. She stepped forward slowly, her armor creaking just slightly. My clan forced me into exile for bonding with a human. I was marked, stripped of title, called impure. But I never regretted it. That one night with you, it gave me her. She looked at the child. I was going to raise her in hiding, she said. Away from war, from power, from everything. But she wasn't meant to stay hidden. Her bloodline speaks louder than silence. Ryan stared at the ground. He wanted to believe this was just war talk, warrior myths, alien pride. But the pendant, the map, the glowing walls, they were all real. And so was the child beside him. She's mine, he said finally. And I never knew, Sierra nodded. Now you do. He looked at her. Why did you come back now? She paused before answering. Because they started hunting half-blood children again, she said. Even the ones hidden well. I thought we had time, but I was wrong. Ryan rubbed his forehead. So what are they after? Her life? Her name? That map she unlocked? Power, Sierra said. The clans are breaking. The one who controls the child can claim the old alliances. They'll say she was a weapon, or a lie, or a mistake. Anything to use her. But she's just a kid, he snapped. She's a legacy, Sierra replied. And legacies are dangerous. Suddenly, a sharp noise echoed from above. Metal scraping stone. Voices. They've breached the outer tunnel. Sierra said quickly, we have to move. But before they could, the child stood and pointed to one of the wall carvings. What is it? Ryan asked. The girl traced a symbol, a warrior holding a blade curved like Sierra's. Beside the warrior, a human stood with arms raised, palms glowing with light. Sierra stepped closer. Her eyes widened. This is old, she whispered. Ah. Record of the first human blood bond ever made. Ryan stared at the wall. The man in the carving looked just like him. Or maybe that was just the way time shaped stories. I don't want her dragged into war, he said. She's not a prophecy. She's a little girl. Sierra looked at him. Then protect her like one. From the ceiling, a section cracked open. A small drone dropped through, scanning light blinking red. Ryan didn't hesitate. He raised a broken piece of metal and smashed it down. Sparks flew, and the drone fell silent. "She knows how to find these places," he said, glancing at the girl. "How?" "She doesn't remember," Sierra answered. "But her blood remembers. Her body leads her without her knowing." "We need to stop this," he said. "Hide her again." "You can't," Sierra replied. "You're bonded now. She unlocked the map through you. They'll trace that signal to your DNA. Then what do we do?" She looked him in the eyes. "We stop running." Ryan's breath caught. "What does that mean?" "We go to the clans," she said. "Not to beg, but to show them she's not a weapon. She's not a threat. She's ours." "That's suicide," Ryan said. "Or it's the beginning of something new," Sierra replied. "They expect you to hide. So we don't." Another explosion rocked the tunnel. Sire reached for her blade. "Make your choice, human," she said. "Run like prey, or rise like a father." Title: He found a crying child in the wreckage. Then the huntress emerged. You finally meet your daughter. The canyon exploded behind them. Dust rose in thick waves as plasma bolts slammed into the stone. Ryan turned, shielding the girl. With his body, his back burning as heat licked the air. Sierra pulled him forward. "Move!" she shouted. "They're dropping in behind us." They ran through the lower tunnels, lights flickering overhead. The girl clung to Ryan's neck, her heartbeat pounding against his chest. Voices echoed through the halls, foreign, cold, mechanical. Mercenaries, not soldiers, not clan warriors. These were hired killers, paid not to ask questions, only to erase targets. And this time, the target was his daughter. Sierra led them into an ancient control room, screens shattered, panels dead. A long table in the center glowed faintly with blue markings. She turned quickly, her voice urgent. "We hold." "Here," she said. "They want her alive, but they won't care if we're dead." Ryan set the child down and grabbed the fallen rifle from the floor. It was old, but it hummed to life in his hands. He looked at Sierra. "How many are coming?" "Too many," she said. "But we have one advantage. They don't know who you are." "I'm nobody," Ryan replied. "Not anymore." The first mercenary dropped from a vent above, sleek armor, sharp movements. Ryan raised the rifle and fired. The bolt struck true, sending the attacker crashing against the wall. The girl screamed and covered her ears. Sierra moved like lightning, blades spinning. She struck two more as they breached the doorway, her face calm, her hands brutal. Ryan stayed beside the child, shooting carefully, each shot protecting her more than himself. But the numbers kept growing. "They're not stopping," he said. "They won't," Sierra shouted. "She carries the last code to the vaults. The one weapon they can't let fall into peace." Ryan ducked behind the table, bullets cutting through the air. "What weapon?" Sierra paused mid-strike. "She is the weapon." Ryan stared at her. "What do you mean?" "The blood in her," Sierra said, her voice steady. "It was designed. She wasn't just born, she was chosen. Our ancestors built her DNA to awaken when war returned. She carries codes, access, control, but only if bonded to both bloodlines. And now she's bonded to me." Sierra nodded. "You gave her the final key when you accepted her." The room shook again. A grenade rolled through the door. Sierra kicked it away, but the explosion lit the room in red fire. Dust blinded Ryan. He pulled the girl under the table. "She doesn't deserve this," he said. "She didn't choose it," Sierra replied. "But she chose you." Through the haze, another figure entered. Taller, heavier, walking slow. Commander, gold armor. A hunter's mark carved into his chestplate. He raised his rifle and pointed it at Ryan. "You're the human," he said. "We were told you'd run." Ryan didn't move. The girl stood up behind him. The commander raised an eyebrow. "So it's true," he said. "She bonded, and now your bloodline is her command key. Ryan aimed his rifle. She's not your key, she's my daughter. The commander smirked. Then you'll die first. He fired. Sira moved faster than light, throwing herself between the blast and Ryan. The bolt hit her side. She fell hard, armor cracked, breath knocked from her chest. Ryan roared and fired back, his shots precise, deadly. The commander stumbled, fell to one knee, then collapsed. Silence followed. Smoke swirled in the air. Ryan dropped the rifle and rushed to Sira. She was bleeding, chest heaving. Her eyes barely stayed open. You can't leave now, he said. She needs you. Sira smiled faintly. She needs you more, she whispered. The girl crawled beside her, holding her hand. Her silver hair glowed softly in the dim light. Sira looked at her, then at Ryan. Name her, she whispered. Ryan froze. She was waiting, Sira said. Don't let her wait any longer. Tears filled his eyes. He looked at the girl, small, fragile, brave. He took her hand. Your name is Kayla. The pendant around her neck lit up. Symbols glowed on the walls. The codes once hidden sparked. Into the air, streaming across the room like rivers of light. Sira's voice was fading, but strong. Ryan held Kayla close, heart breaking, chest full of fire. And somewhere deep in the chamber, the old systems began to wake. Title: He found a crying child in the wreckage. Then the huntress emerged. You finally meet your daughter. Kayla sat beside Sira's still body. Her small fingers curled around the warrior's glove. She didn't cry. Her eyes were dry, glowing faintly in the dark, watching, remembering. Ryan stood behind her, silent, arms crossed over his chest, but his mind was storming. The old chamber still pulsed with light. The map on the wall spun slowly, marking coordinates no one had. Seen in decades, a war was waking. But something else was too. His past. He touched the wall, and the codes shifted. Not random, not by chance. They were reacting to him now, just like they had to her, father and daughter. Human and key. Kayla looked up at him. What happens now? She asked. Ryan knelt beside her. They're going to keep coming, he said. More soldiers, more hunters. All of them chasing you. Kayla tilted her head. Will we run? He shook his head. No, not anymore. She blinked. Why? Ryan placed his hand on her back. Because I wasn't just a salvager, he said. Not before. Kayla waited, quiet and still. I was part of Project Blackroot, he said softly. Earth's silent war division. We didn't fight battles. We ended them before they began. You were a warrior? She whispered. I was a strategist, he said. But I knew how to fight. I knew how to disappear. And I knew how to make enemies regret trying. He stood and looked down at Sira. One last time, she gave everything for you, he said. Now it's my turn. Kayla watched as he crossed the chamber, finding an old case buried beneath the map console. He pried it open. Inside lay an old Earth weapon, one he hadn't seen in years, black steel, heavy grip. And beside it, a chip marked with the Blackroot seal. He took both. Kayla walked to him, reaching up. I want to help. You already have, he said, lifting her into his arm. You gave me a reason. As they moved through the tunnel, Sira's voice echoed in his mind. Make your choice, human. Run like prey, or rise like a father. He chose. They reached the surface just as the second wave arrived. Dropships carved lines into the sky. Shadows fell across the sand. Kayla looked up. There are more than before. They expected us to hide, Ryan said. But we're going to teach them something new. He activated the Blackroot chip and slid it into the weapon. Lights blinked. A sharp beep confirmed the link. The weapon recognized him. After all this time, it still remembered. Kayla reached for the rifle's handle. "It's heavy," she said. "That's because it's real." Ryan replied, "Just like this fight." They moved across the canyon toward a ridge. From the top, Ryan could see everything. 5 enemy ships, dozens of troops spreading across the valley, searching, scanning, ready to strike. Kayla stood beside him, eyes narrowed. "They think I'm just a tool," she said. He nodded. "They don't know you're a child with a father," he replied. "And that makes them blind." She smiled, "Just a little. What do we do?" He looked at her, so small, so still, yet standing like a warrior born. "We make noise," he said. "We make them chase shadows. And when they get close," he raised the rifle, "we show them what it means to corner someone with nothing left to lose." As the first patrol passed below, Ryan fired. A clean shot. 1 soldier down. No sound, no light trail. Just silence and panic. The others shouted. Formed up, but they didn't know where it came from. He fired again. Then again, from the command ship, an alert blared. Enemy engaged. High threat. Unknown source. Inside. The enemy commander growled. "Who is doing this?" He barked. A nearby scout replied, "One man, a human." The commander paused. "A human?" "Yes, alone. But he moves like he's not alone." Back on the ridge, Kayla pointed to a rock formation near the north exit. "They're calling for backup," she said. "Should we leave?" Rain shook his head. "We're not leaving. We're changing the rules." He activated the hidden beacon. Sierra had passed to him before she fell. A small pulse shot into the sky, a signal to the outer planets, not to run, but to gather. Across the stars, the clans would see it. A call made only by blood. A call from her. Kale looked at him again. "They'll all come now." Rain lifted her into his arms once more. "Then let them," he said. "We'll be waiting." And as night fell over the desert moon, a father and his daughter stood under the stars. No longer fugitives, no longer alone, but ready. Title: He found a crying child in the wreckage, then the huntress emerged. You finally meet your daughter. The stars above the desert moon were no longer silent. One by one, ships began to arrive. They didn't come in force, not yet. They came in witness. Small vessels from the broken clans, from forgotten allies, from exiles who once held power but now lived in shadows. They followed the signal. The call had been old, buried in protocol only the heir of Clan Davana could make. But the moment Kayla sent it through the beacon, they all felt it. Not just the power of her blood, but the message behind it. She was not hiding, she was standing, and she was not standing alone. Ryan stood on the highest ridge, his daughter at his side. Her cloak danced in the wind. Her pendant glowed brighter now, steady, not pulsing, as if it had found peace. Down below, mercenary ships were in retreat. The second wave had failed. Their commanders couldn't explain it. They couldn't track him. Every time they moved, traps went off. Routes collapsed. Communications failed. It wasn't luck. It was precision. Ryan had turned the desert into a battlefield, and every corner whispered his name. Black route tactics, ghost-level camouflage, war without noise. He had become something more than just a father. He had become a force. Kayla sat on a flat stone, watching the night. Her eyes were still wide, but calmer now. Her voice was quiet. When she spoke, "I never thought I would get a name." Rayan smiled. "You earned it." "Kayla," she repeated. "Does it mean something?" He nodded. "In the old Earth tongue, it means torch. A light in the dark." She looked at the sky. "Was I really made for war?" "No," he said. "You were made to end it." She turned to him. But they'll still chase me. Let them, he said. But they won't find a weapon anymore. They'll find someone with a father. And that makes all the difference. Kayla leaned against him, small and warm. Ryan wrapped an arm around her, pulling her close. From behind them, the sound of footsteps. He turned. 3 figures approached, tall-robed, marked with clan sigils long thought extinct. The one in front removed her hood. Her hair was braided silver. Her eyes shimmered with emotion. "I am Ilvara," she said, "once sister to Sira." Rayan stood, nodding. "She gave her life for Kayla." "I know," Ilvara replied. "And for that, she will be honored." Kayla, "Step forward. I'm not a queen," she said quietly. "I'm just Kayla." Ilvara knelt. "You are both. And more. You carry the blood of warriors and the heart of a human. You are what our people feared and what we now hope for." Kayla looked to Ryan. He gave her a gentle nod. She turned back to Ilvara. "Then help us," she said. "Not to take power, but to protect those who still have none." Ilvara bowed her head. "You speak like Sira once did." "She was my mother," Kayla said. "I won't forget." In the days that followed, Kayla's name spread through the clans. Not with crowns or fire, but with stories. Of a child who stood in the open. Of a father who fought without orders. Of a warrior who gave her life so the future could breathe. Ryan refused titles. He didn't want command. But people still followed. They called him Shieldfather. They called Kayla the flame-born dot, and as new alliances formed, old wars faded. One night, beneath a calm